Oh.
Ooh.
What happened to me? What happened to me? Dude, hang on. What did
There
I
you
do?
go. You're coming back. You were so teeny tiny.
What did I do? Dude? Hold on. I love that this is happening in real time.
Oh.
I have no idea. I just broke. Well, I didn't break. It's close to broken.
That was perfect.
I think I'm centered.
Good enough.
I don't know what's happening. Dude.
I think it's good enough.
I was just going to welcome to the show, atbshow.com. You can go there. You get all the accoutrement, all of our social media. We would love for you to subscribe and like and share and comment. I shouldn't be driving. Let's start. I'm like Jay Monahan from the PGA. I really shouldn't be in control because I just ruined my camera. We're going to talk about your libation in a second. Rubber Shoes checked in early. He's at the firehouse. Spoiler alert. Nobody's shocked. Everyone's shocked. And he muted himself and stepped away. So we had a live action shot of his setup at the firehouse. And then I went to make an adjustment on all of the paraphernalia here on my desktop, which clearly, again, I shouldn't be touching because I just broke the show. And I shut his camera off. So when he gets back, he'll rejoin. So you do have it. Can you see? It says double click to pick a camera source.
Oh, yeah. I can't see that. No.
Oh, okay. So like I don't know what you guys see. Yeah, I ruined everything, and now I've got my squares all jacked. I'm gonna fix this a little bit. Hang on, I'm gonna go here and really actually make it sort of the same size. You know what? Our tech guy Robert is probably gonna kill me because this is what I do. I just ruin things. This is why we can't have nice things, Scott.
This is very true. This is very true.
We are brought to you by our dear friends at AAA Work Trucks, which, before we got on the air, Scotty, if you got into the team chat thread, we got, it looks like, speaking of Super 8, I don't know if you've seen Kowloon is looking for Super 8 footage from their fan base because they're making a documentary. We'll talk about that in a second. There was some granular Super 8 grassy Knoll Zabruder film footage of, I think, a AAA Work Trucks commercial. AAA Work Trucks, Joe and Leslie, God bless them for tolerating us. Rubber Shoes is one of their, I'm just going to say one of their employees. I'm not going to give him more credit than he deserves. He's one of their employees. He gets Celtics tickets. They love him. We love him. He'll be back. He's going to be pissed I shut off his camera. We've got a bunch to get to. The Red Sox, you got to win to start a winning streak, so they're off. We might talk about them when Rubber Shoes gets back. You and I are going to talk about that. Hold that up. Is that Schweppes?
No, it's like the cheesy.
Let me see.
Whatever, like the great
store
value.
brand. Okay, yeah, fine, store brand. But it's tonic water, and I'm commending you on that. As Scotty and I always share what we're having for cocktails. I'm drinking water. If you want to believe that, you can. It's fine. And Scotty's making a Hendrix and tonic, and I celebrate that because so many people are like, you know what? I don't want to use tonic water because the quinine. And it's bad for you. Everything's bad for you. This just in. Everything's bad for you. It's one of the secret sauces. Keep reading your label. Somewhere in tonic water, there is a thing that everybody says is the devil's juice.
Oh, yeah, I do see it.
Quinine. And
quinine hydrochloride.
You know what?
Isn't that the stuff you see the guys with the movie and then they cover the person's mouth? Is that hydrochloride? I don't know.
I wish it worked that way because I drink more of it. Yeah. Like to put it on a good nap when I get here tomorrow, you know? But anyway, so in the grand scheme of things, I celebrate your gin and tonic. It is a phenomenal drink.
It is. It's my favorite drink.
What's even better than that, if you do have to, if you want to stay above board at a social event, maybe at the office, and you want to, because I understand, you have a team that report to you. I have a team that reports to me at my office. We have to be adults, which is horrifying. Yeah. Look at us. Look at us. Anyway, so sometimes with just a lime in some tonic water, it's got that taste. You're like, you know what? I'm a little Hendrix away from a good cocktail, but I can do this because I'm going to be able to finish my sentences in 2 hours, and that's important for my employment.
I have to, yeah.
Exactly. So we've got our cocktails. Joe and Leslie and the whole crew at AAA Work Trucks, AAAWorkTrucks.com. I do not have the manifesto memorized that Rubber Shoes will probably spit out when he gets back. We got to get his camera fixed. I just fixed my camera. We appreciate you guys hanging out, and we are into it because we got to talk about most importantly, we'll definitely touch on Kowloon at some point because we have a Team Kowloon summit coming up that we have to talk about the new fall season coming this September, and then above and beyond that, really the soup of the day, the Celtics. If you've got any liner notes on anything else, I think between yourself, myself, and Rubber Shoes when he returns, serving the great city of Lowell today, let's talk about the golf thing. This is
yes.
I'm happy to spend all of the time talking about the golf thing, and I'm going to open with because I think so many people are, and no judgment here. If you feel this way, I completely appreciate that. I'm gonna call myself on my own bullshit. And I felt this way when it first happened. I'm not going to try to die on the hill. I'm not going to fall on the Nerf sword that I can't believe these players went to a Saudi-backed league with the Public Investment Fund. That's not where I'm at. Because a lot of the people that are standing in my office during the day, Scott, and they're like saying, this is terrible, I would never do that. They're doing that. When I look down towards their feet, Scott, some of my agents are doing that in a pair of Nikes. Those were sewn together in China by a 3-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably if he doesn't put together or she doesn't put together enough Nikes, might get beat within an inch of their life. And if that's graphic, I apologize. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to call it for what it is. It is what it is. So I'm not on the hill of I won't watch this. It's backed by the Saudis. If I felt that way, I'd have to walk home, Scott, because I put Saudi juice in my car to drive to and fro my fabulous job, just in case Nathan's listening. So in the grand scheme of things, that's not the hill I'll die on. I'll die on the fact the product they put together, it'll be on the quiz later, it's a French term, sucks. I don't want to watch them with their weird logos and the team play that I can't figure out, and I don't want to spend the time figuring out. I want to put on golf. I want to see Scott Duquette. He's +4, and he's got to get to -1 to make the cut. I know that math. That's the new math, the old math, the math I understand.
Wouldn't happen, by the way.
This amalgamation of the DP Tour, which has always sort of been there. That's the European Tour, ultimately. The DP Tour, the PGA Tour, not to be confused with the PGA, and or PGA of America, right? That's a three-headed dragon, which is about to get two more heads, I guess. And then no longer LIV. It is the PIF. It's the Public Investment Fund. So does LIV go away? I think it does in essence, but they are going to bring in. They want a 5th major. They want some team play. I hope it's some team play. If they go to full team play, you've lost me.
Yeah. So let's start there with the team. So Rory came out, and I thought Rory, by the way. So like for you, like
I love that he doubled down.
I'm with you. I'm not the guy that's sitting there being like, DJ, you took the money and Phil and all that stuff and whatnot. They did it because there's a lot of money, and that's what they felt was right. Where I am, where it really bothers me, is that you had the face as of right now, right? Because Tiger is no longer the face of golf, right? He's just not. At least in regards to the players, and this is supposed to be a player-run type of sport, and more so than others. And you had the face standing up there, week after week when all this went down last year. Rory's sitting there and kind of bashing it and saying all really the right things, from regards to the PGA, and then him not really knowing that this was going to end up happening, not, sitting up there today and answering all the questions like a man. And I give him a ton of credit for that. But I just feel kind of bad for him. He just went through and stood up for something that he believed in, for an organization that he believes in. And then that organization saying, no, we're not going to have your back anymore. We're going to go ahead and merge with these guys. And, Rory was, I think, still kind of towing the company line, kind of, because he did say, there's not going to be any team golf. We're not going to do that. Like, that's not going to change. Those types of things aren't going to happen. He doesn't envision it. And he even said, though, he's like, way down the line from now, this will be good for golf. One of the things he talked about was around like the money, right? The Saudi money, where it comes from and stuff like that, where people, freak out, you're not sensitive to the 9/11 people, folks anymore because of this and that. And he's like, well, look, the money, the Saudis were going to be investing money in golf. That wasn't going to change.
The money
None
was
of that
coming.
was going to change. How that money is being spent now potentially could be have more ridicule on it, right? Or have more governance. And that's kind of what Rory was trying to say. We can kind of oversee how that money is spent and how that's going to go. And it's going to be changes for sure. But I'm leaning towards Rory's side where I think it's going to be changes for the better. I did hear just right before we came on air that someone from the DP said that, or one of the folks that was there, that basically speaking on regards of the Ryder Cup, regardless of the fact that PIF is now merged with PGA, no players that played for LIV will be eligible for the Ryder Cup. So there's no Brooks, there's no DJ, there's no Phil, you know what I mean? There's no Bryce, you know what I mean? No Poulter, which is huge for the Europe side because I feel like he's always played well in the Ryder Cup, at least the singles.
Yep.
So for that part, I thought that was pretty interesting. It's just we haven't even gotten into like the fact that you found out at the same time Rory and the rest, like Colin Morikawa.
I'm glad you brought this up.
So
out. Yeah, I completely appreciate that perspective, and I disagree with it. You and I talked about this because I called you yesterday when it hit our phones. If you were paying attention, and I have nothing going on in my life, so I'm always paying attention when golf's on TV. Me and the cats focused, gin and tonic focused, and as Rory came off the 18th. He's one of the dudes, so he gets a handshake with Jack. And Jack was shaking his hand, and I don't live on a planet that I think that Jack didn't know about this.
Yeah.
Jack's the godfather. Jack knew about it. And I'm saying that with blame. My tinfoil helmet, it's at the dry cleaners. My tinfoil helmet tells me that Jack knew about this, and I do believe if you were watching when Rory came off the green on 18, he shook Jack's hand, and he's like, it's always a pleasure, and talked about his play and all that stuff. And Jack gave him a pretty stern look. And if you didn't see this happen, because when I saw it happen, I thought it was sort of weird, because I felt like Jack was sort of saying to his grandpa Jack, like he's like, we should sit down. And I didn't take that as I want to grab a sandwich and a lemonade and have a conversation about our lives, or I'm concerned about your inconsistencies. Now I'm looking back and I'm saying, oh, Jack wanted to talk to Rory because he knew, and now the rumors are too, and they're everywhere. And this is the greatest part about sports. I love when crap like this happens because I'm annoyed by it, but it's great fodder for our show. Welcome to atbshow.com, by the way. We love having you. And my head went right to, oh my God, yes, did it? It all rewound in my head. I think Jack was just like, we got to get on the same page here. Or I'd love to know what your temperature is. Because the rumor now, I saw something on the Twitterverse. Somebody tweeted that Rory got a text from Paul Dunn Monday night. Yes, Monday night.
Really?
And then got a call Wednesday morning before it broke. So, and I don't live in a world where I think Jack Nicklaus didn't know about it. I'm sorry. That's not real. That's not real life. Jack Nicklaus had to know he's if there's a Rushmore for golf, he's on it. It has more than 4 faces, but he's on that. He's one of the first 4 faces on Rushmore. If there's a Rushmore for golf, he had to know, and it's a business decision. Nobody should be shocked. This guy, I'm going to go back to something that if you don't know, ask your grandparents. When everybody got mad when Johnny Damon took the money from the Yankees, and as the story goes, as it was at least told, or I remember it. He got another offer from the Yankees, and he's like, well, I got to go call the Red Sox. They're like, if you leave the room, the deal's off the table. And as a father, and I know when Rubber Shoes gets back, he'll appreciate this. Any parent listening to this right now, as a dad, in 1987, I know it's 2023. In 1987, yeah, I'm going to take the money for my family. So I've never discredited those guys going to get that payday. And I also honor the fact that the rumors are Tiger said no to $800 million. And I do feel bad for those guys because you got Rory and Tiger and some other phenomenal, hey, Will Zalatoris, Yeah, I call him, Will Liposaurus. Like every putt that he needs to make, he lips, right? He could have taken apparently 150. Hideki Matsuyama. Did I just say a baseball name? I'm sorry. Did I say the golf name? I think I said the right name.
You think of Colin Morikawa?
No, not Colin. No, but
no. Yeah, that's. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's backed. Like he's a Strixon kid. And I know you know this. Strixon is the biggest golf brand in China, and the last time I checked, they have a bigger golf fan base and population of players than anybody else on planet America. And he got a huge offer, and he turned it down. So all these guys that were ultimately maybe even shamed into making that decision because of the pompousness of Jay Monahan to say, well, don't take that money. And now his new quote,
right.
But Scott, please understand, I was making a decision at the time with the information that's in front of me. The only thing that changed in front of you, Jay, is the goddamn check, which I have to imagine is enormous. But can we all just come out and be adults and be like, it was about the money, and now the money's here, and the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, was going to win because they were going to bleed them out in court, death by 1,000 paper cuts. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
That's the thing too. And you bring up the lawsuit because there is a lawsuit that was happening between LIV and the PGA, right?
Multiple, right?
That's still they're still active. So I wouldn't say that this is a done deal. In theory, it is, right?
Before Rubber Shoes escaped, before we came on the air, he said the same thing. Yep.
Who's that? I'm sorry?
Rubber Shoes, before he had to escape, before we came on the air, said the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, because there are I's that need to be crossed and T's that need to be dotted at this point, and they need to figure out things.
You screwed that up on purpose. I like that a lot. Yep. Yep.
My
father used to say, a watch boil never pots. Keep going. Yep.
That's right. Yeah. That's perfect. I love it. But yeah, so there's a lot of nuances that still need to happen behind the scenes, because someone did also, like, we talk about the money and everything too, because from a public perspective, the LIV players are making out like crazy, right? They're the winners in this whole thing because they took the money, they went and they played.
A lot of memes on the internet right now. People dancing back into the locker room with all their cash.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Less golf for way more money and all this stuff, and now they're back in the PGA. But I think in the long run, we'll see how that all ends up playing out. They did ask Rory today, will, like, the guys that stayed in the PGA, right, the PGA heroes or whatever, are they going to get paid? Rory came back with like a short yes. Now it's going to be super complex. There's going to be some gray area there, how that's going to look, what that's going to look like. Yes, they'll get paid, but what all that looks like, I do not know. How are the cats in the trees in Lowell? And is everyone safe?
This kid's crushing Fresca.
What is that?
He's crushing Fresca, which I absolutely celebrate. If you've ever been to Bentley Lane and Rubber Shoes knows this, Dick and Cheryl always had a fridge full of Fresca. My mom probably has at least 4 on the door in the fridge right now. And sidebar, not a sponsor yet. If you didn't like Sierra Mist, nobody did. Don't raise your hand. We won't be friends anymore. They replaced it with Starry. Have you had Starry yet? It's not the new Sierra Mist.
I heard it's worse.
No, I like. Well, okay, I like it. Starry Zero is chef's kiss. But anyway, I love that you're crushing Frescas, which is great. It's not a beer; it's a Fresca. He's on duty, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't.
Dear Lord, you can't be inebriated pulling mittens out of a tree. You got to be sober.
Don't believe what you see on TV.
You got to be spry. So welcome in. We're talking all golf all the time, Rubber Shoes. Welcome back. I apologize. You missed it. I shut your camera off, and then when we went on the air, I had destroyed my camera, so I had to rebuild the show as we were going. It's like a bad episode of The $1 Million Man. You don't know what I'm talking about? Ask your great-grandfather. Anyway, so you make a great point, Scotty. Here's the thing, though, too. When I was talking to you about this, and I might have mentioned this earlier to Rubber Shoes before we got on the air, just 20 minutes before all this happened, if you're watching Twitter, which it's been fun to watch between Rory and Phil. And Phil, just about 20 minutes ago, before this broke yesterday at 10:14 a.m., I believe, he was picking on Rory, saying, Rory's tired, and after the major events, he's taking weeks off. Liv would have been a great fit for him. Oh, well, Rory's been hyper quiet. So I don't know if Rory knew more than most, and I know everybody's saying they all found out yesterday. Again, we talked about this a couple of minutes ago. I don't live in a world where I believe Jack Nicklaus didn't know. I think the handshake on 18 between Rory and Jack, where Jack said we need to talk. I think there was some information there. The rumor is on Twitter that Paul Dunn texted Rory Monday night and then called him Tuesday morning. How can you trust a governing body, a decision of this magnitude? And I'll make a local comparison. If we tomorrow at 10:14 got an email from my owner here, Nathan's desk, that said we're going to be Remax at 10:30, like, you know, and it's his company. I don't really get a vote, but I'd be like, what the actual is going on, right? So and Rubber Shoes, you were saying earlier before we jumped on the air, this might like they've thrown up, and this is like when I'll use a really bad analogy because I love them, and hopefully they'll be a sponsor soon because it's terrible service. I'm just kidding. We love you, T-Mobile. T-Mobile and Sprint merged, but they announced that. Then it takes about 3 years for it to happen. Mm-hmm. And they're saying that this won't probably come to actual amalgamated fruition until probably 25. Like, they're going to play their live schedule next year is sort of a rumor. I feel like they're going to hyper it. They're going to make it go. The almighty dollar can make it move faster than it needs to anyway, right?
Yeah. Greg Norman came out and has been telling like staff and other people that work for live that they're not closing down. And, you know, in the near future right now, like they're going to finish out their season and they should be playing next year. And you know, it's basically reassuring because that's the thing too, that Roy talked about. We keep talking about live, you know, and he was like super adamant about this. He's like, well, this isn't a deal with live. He's like, this is a deal with PIF. This isn't live. He's like, I still hate live.
I love that. Was great. Yeah. I just saw that before we came that was on.
Amazing. Yep. Yeah, I love that. I love that he came out and like, he said that.
Yeah, it's live isn't buying PGA. It's the PIF, which owns the LIV.
Yeah, but so what does this look like though? They're saying, and that was also, if you caught, and if you haven't seen it, jump online. It's worth a watch. All of the comments from Rory at in Canada at the, is it RBC this weekend, right? I believe. Yeah. Or Canadian Open.
Yeah.
Rory's comments, it was funny. They asked him a few things. He said that I hate live. I hope it does go away. I do think it's going to be good long term for the game in the grand scheme of things. And then somebody asked, do you feel Jay Monahan's the right person? And I guess on Twitter, somebody put long, deep breath. And then he said yes. So he does have apprehension. There is trust broken.
Definitely.
And, you know, and to your point, Scotty, the kids that got those big paydays are apparently, as of right now, excluded from certain events moving forward. But that's all going to get worked out. I don't want it to turn into we're going to make a win-win for both, which is what I understand. That's what this is. But to make it a win-win for both, if there's a watering down of what I love to watch on Sunday, which I understand, and it's not me being like the old guy waving his cane at the clouds. I just, when they moved off YouTube and they got the deal with CW this year, and the other clunkiness of that is they're not on every weekend. Like, I get to my office on Thursday, I know I can put on ESPN and start watching golf at 8 a.m., right? Depending on where they're playing. And it's on for 4 days. It's every weekend. It's friggin' predictable. CW is like, oh, is there an event this week? Or is there not an event this week? And I put it on, and Janina comes out. We got it on in the bedroom. She comes out of the bathroom. She looks. She's like, what is all this? I'm like, I don't know. She goes, shut it off. She gets so mad, because it's like, and Mickelson with his High Flyers logo and all, just, it's so weird. And I love you, Rubber Shoes. I love it. It's like wrestling. Like, I don't get it. And I don't want it just to be the WWE and the WCW and Rafter Wrestling from Lowell at the Pulaski Club. Like, can we just make this clean and make it make sense and preserve the sport? And I don't think, based on yesterday's actions, I fear the best golf we've ever seen might have been last weekend. Maybe the Michael Block thing will be something like, remember, kids, when golf was awesome, right?
I don't know if I agree with that though. I think again, I don't think they're going to change. Like, I don't think they're going to change the Thursday to the Sunday You know what I mean? Like, again, this isn't live golf. This isn't going to turn. They're not going to change that. And here's the thing: I never heard anyone, no one ever said when they went to live, DJ, Phil, Bryce, Brooks, whatever. None of them
It's
ever
so much
said, like,
better
I'm
here.
going there because I want to play team golf. I'm going there because I get to wear my, these flyers and do whatever, or I'm going there because it's only 54 holes. Maybe that was like a sub mention.
It was
They
really
went
the
there for the
shorts.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shorts. That's right. But they went there for the money. They didn't go there for the dress code. They didn't go. That wasn't like the point. So I don't think them coming back here, where things are going to drastically change. I really don't see that happening. I still believe it as now. If they add another major, I'll ask you both: does that water down? I mean, we already have 4 majors a year. If they make it 5, does that water down majors, or is that something that you're all right with?
It's they wrap up in time for the holidays, right? Like there's about about a 6-week break, and then they're back in Hawaii in like January, right?
End of January.
If a 5th major, I'm not annoyed, and honestly, I caught somebody today talking about it. None of the majors are really run by the PGA, anyway.
No.
Right. That's why the live players have been allowed to play in them.
Yeah. So and to add like a super major, like and let the PIF dump a bunch of cash in. That'd be really cool. And then to have maybe every other month there's a team format that would keep it interesting. Now, my other thought, and we haven't talked about this yet, and I know it's about a year out, I think. Remember and self-serving for Tiger, which is awesome because they're going to get ratings and guys are going to love it. Girls are going to love it. Anyone who loves golf will love it. Sorry about that. It's going to be awesome. They're going to do that whole thing. Remember, he and Rory are going to start the Sim League. They talked about that. Now, this was something that obviously they were happy to bring this intellectual property that they probably came up with on Tiger's couch, right? Like, this is a great idea. Let's make this work. Let's get a couple of our people into this and get our lawyers to figure out how to look and then present it to the PGA. It's probably going to be like their gift to the PGA. We can do this. It can be this different thing on a weeknight to rival the gap in between Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football. I don't know. Do they willingly bring this product to a league to just scorn them? And are there enough players? And rhetorical question, I think the answer is no. Are there enough players that feel scorned enough that they step away and try to start something else?
Nah.
I don't think that happens, but I also,
Well, the thing is,
somebody's
I
going
was
to get
talking
drunk
to you-
enough tonight and call somebody and be like, dude, are you as mad as me? You want to go start our own thing, right? I don't know.
So like I was telling you before the show, Timmy, the first thing they got to do is they got to approve it through the board, which is half non-players and half players. The players are going to need everything to be done the right way, and that's going to be they're not going to allow live players in the PGA unless they have been fined and suspended and all this for.
Uh-oh.
So, and then
It's the Saudis
also,
calling. They need him.
It has to be approved by the Department of Justice also.
Yeah, you make a great point, Rubbish Shoes.
This
I think there's
years
going to be
and years away from
there's going to be
being
a long walk.
anything.
Well, and the other thing too, Scotty and I were talking about before you got back, the death by 1,000 paper cuts with the legal thing, and that the fact that
Right.
PIF could stand there and just bleed out the PGA.
Yep.
The other side of that, somebody brought up, I caught today on something. I bet the PGA, I bet both of them don't want to get into really deep legal weeds just because of the discovery process. Because if you got to sort of open the kimono and let people rummage
sure
about
it is.
in your storage area, and you're like, oh, what's this? It's some tie wraps in a garbage bag with a skeleton in it. Who'd you kill? And Jay Moynihan's like, well, that was before we did. Yeah, don't worry about that. It's Fuzzy Zeller. Like, no, he's still with us. I don't know. But it does, no, well, I know people that want him dead. But anyway, other than that, his bookie, his ex-wife.
Like, do you think that they thought about just dropping whatever they were being sued for, just say, okay, fine, we'll you can have that. Let's just leave it alone and not in bed with them. But
I
you
think
that was an option?
I think two shoes dropped yesterday in their heads. I don't know if it legally took place. I think a check landed on Jay Moynihan's desk, and I think they dropped their gloves at the Golden Gloves and said, "We're going to stop fighting." Or there's at least in principle, there was a handshake and agreement. Yeah, we're going to pull this out of court. Let's all get along. Can't we all just get along? To your point, Rubber Shoes, Scotty said it too. I think there's a long road before they figure out what this looks like. I think there will be backlash. You're going to have people on polarizing sides. Again, the guy that's not going to wash it. And I say this with absolute respect and honor. And I said this when the whole thing happened. I've never been upset about the fact that it's Saudi money. And I don't say that with any disrespect to anyone who lost their life on 9/11. And if you're going to dig your heels in and you're going to be the moral compass for the universe before you got back, Rubber Shoes, like, okay, then I need to walk home to Stratford tonight because there's probably some Saudi in my car getting me home. Like, I'm not checking when I get to Sunoco and like, did you get this from Texas? Is it from Venezuela? Or did it come from Vladimir Putin? Like, I don't have that kind of time. I'm sorry. I'm not that good a person.
4 years ago, we were on our way to have energy independence, but
we'll save that for when he gets back. He'll be here next week. But in the grand scheme of things, like I'm not that good a person. I apologize. So I'm going to drive home, and I'm probably getting home on the public investment fund.
No,
so
right.
I'm not going to die on that. I'm not going to die on that hill.
Nike has skeletons.
Everyone, yeah, and I think part of this.
Speaking of, I finally watched Air. Oh my God, that's like in my top 10 right now.
Did you watch that, Scotty?
What just happened? Yes, I have. I've seen it. Yeah, it was very good. It just totally took me out of
all right.
field. Though.
It's on my to-do list. I will check with Adam to make sure he watches it. Yes, okay.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, you have not?
Is it? What is it on?
Amazing.
Amazon
Prime.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I'll knock it out.
Yeah, I watched it this weekend, and I had a tissue box. There was like so many things. I was like it was so awesome.
Oh,
so awesome!
Love it.
I freaking loved
I didn't
it.
cry, but it was good. It was very good.
Did everybody watch the end of Lasso?
No, not yet.
I haven't watched any of that.
I'm behind. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say I'm behind.
No, I won't ruin any of it. Rubber Shoes, lock and load, baby.
That's
phenomenal,
on Netflix, right?
Phenomenal.
Oh no, Apple TV. It's
Apple
so
Plus.
Good,
yep.
Dude.
Oh, Apple. I don't have that.
Apple Plus. Sorry.
I will. Yep. Hi, Tim Cook. I will give you my password. Phenomenal. Oh, while we're there, since we're all, and I know Adam is not, but iPhone users, this is super stupid, but it's really actually cool. They had their worldwide developer conference this week. Talked about all the things. They've got the new virtual headset they got coming out, which does everything. It's $3,500. Nobody's going to get it. Somebody's going to get it.
Tell me about this the other day.
The coolest thing that came out, iOS 17, which will be here this fall with the new iPhones. On iOS 17, if I'm getting a phone call from Janina, which normally I would take, I think most of us will pick up the phone when our bosses call. But if I'm looking down, right now with T-Mobile, I can get voice to text. So it'll make my voicemail a text so I can read it, which is cool. The new thing they're going to do with iOS 17 is they're going to do real-time voicemail. So as somebody's leaving a voicemail, which 7 people do because everybody just hangs up and texts you, I get that.
Right.
But if my wife is leaving a voicemail and saying Aiden's sick or Cameron's needs a ride from school, you can watch it in real time as she's saying that and decide to intercept the call. Almost like back in the day when you're home and your answering machine and you could still pick up the phone. I think that's probably the dumbest, coolest thing they're doing.
I am not home.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you still have house phones? Both of you?
I love that we're going here. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
We're terrible people.
Really?
Stay with me on this. Stay with me on this.
Wow.
Yes.
So I'll give a big reason.
Go ahead.
So most places, when you call 911 with your cell phone, it goes to the nearest state police dispatcher, and then they have to transfer it to your local town, and then they dispatch to your home. If you call a landline, it goes directly to the 911 center in your town, and you get a quicker response.
Interesting.
Especially you guys up in there in the sticks. It's probably definitely going to a place really far away,
Yeah.
and then bouncing back to
Scotty's
you.
bounced. Scotty's in the wick, and he's getting like bounced over to Gray, Maine.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So honestly, I love that we're boring the hell out of everybody with our personal lives, but here we go. For Janina and I, it was we moved into Straftopia in 9. Her parents got here in 10. So with 2 old people in the house, and with Cameron having diabetes and autism, we wanted just the predictability and the added layer of having a landline. And I did not know what Rubber Shoes just shared, and I completely appreciate it. Although we were warned, especially with his diabetes, if anything ever happens with Cameron or with the old people in our town, because it is somebody gets a call, there's like, there in the center of our town, there is like a little garage, and you can see a couple of like emergency trucks. But some kid's got to wake up, get dressed, drive his car to the emergency truck, then drive to us.
Right. Yeah.
We've been told
on call, right?
We've been told, get your person in the car and speed to the hospital and explain it to the stadies when they pull you over, and then you'll get an escort to the hospital. So we've always played that way, but we've kept the landline. I think we've moved over to the company called Uma now, and it's $7 a month, and it's one more layer. This boredom brought to you by our friends at AAA Work Trucks. We haven't done it yet, Rubber Shoes. We've talked about them incessantly.
Oh.
Give us the hit.
Brought to you by AAA Work Trucks, your one-stop shop for all your work truck needs. If it goes in or on a vehicle, it's a good bet AAA can take care of for you. Give them a call at 866-783-6222 or check them out online at aaaworktrucks.com.
Love it. So Joe and Leslie, who we talked about earlier, who we adore because they apparently have the patience of Job because they tolerate you on a regular basis. By the way, that microfiche you sent us earlier in the chat, is that like Zapruder film of a new commercial coming out?
No, I was watching the Sports Hub and it came on, so I recorded it off of the TV.
So if you don't know, now you do. Behind the curtain with our friendship, Rubber Shoes is a Sports Hub guy. If you live in the New England area, welcome to the show. Rubber Shoes is a Sports Hub guy. I'm an EEI guy. And ironically enough, this morning, Greg, the leader of the morning show on EEI, did the read for AAA Work Trucks, which I completely adored.
Yeah.
So when they do
fact.
an ad, wait a minute. So the Sports Hub standby. Where was that video from?
That was they do Bertrand.
You watch it on TV. I
and-
apologize. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
in
yeah.
the break, your ad comes on, and there's a video featurette.
Yeah.
And if I'm not crazy, I believe the female in the video is the wife.
Yes.
So you and Steph are now stars in your own miniseries. Yeah. Is that an exhaust pipe, or are you just excited to see me?
Yeah.
What is happening right now? I got to meet
What
Joe
kind
and
of
Leslie.
video
We
is
gotta-
this?
We
Hold
got to
on.
get Joe
So-
and Leslie to meet us at Kowloon. Damn it.
So the fun
kind of
fact
video?
is
What is happening?
that
Fun fact. I think we just had the fun fact, but by all means, go ahead.
Greg Hill lives in the same town as Joey and Leslie. And
I love it.
Shocking.
Love it.
Shocking.
I think their kids played sports together.
Okay. Not now. They grew up in the same town.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I know Joe and Leslie's kids are out of college at this point. So
I love all of that. Yeah, we've got to meet these two wonderful souls. Anyway, so that's fascinating. Fascinating.
So by the way, real quick about the wrapping up on golf.
We can go anywhere, bud. Anywhere.
If you remember, Michael Block got invited after.
Did he end up showing?
He's there. He's going to play. He's teeing off at 1:54 tomorrow afternoon, and ESPN Plus is going to make him a featured group. You know what
Why
I mean?
wouldn't they?
There's no question. No question.
Because you know what? And God bless him. He could be the saving grace and the distraction this weekend.
Oh, for sure.
If he becomes the story, they should shower him with gifts.
I am hoping that Rory just absolutely dominates the field, though. Personally,
So
I
do
hope
I.
he just goes out there and like
1,000%.
I'm hoping he shoots like like a 64, 65, 63, and finishes like a 64. You know what I mean? Like just absolutely just destroys.
I want
I
Tiger out
might
there on
have
Canadian
money
crutches.
on
I
Rory
want
to
it
do
all.
that.
All of it. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's
That I
got
might have
on
money
Rory.
on Rory to do that this weekend.
I love that. Where are you
That's the best.
gambling?
It's legal in Mass.
No, I know that. I'm asking which app do you use? Are you a DraftKings kid or a FanDuel kid?
FanDuel.
Okay. All right.
So the only so I had DraftKings for a long time, and I would go to New Hampshire and do bets that way. And then when it became live in Mass, I couldn't get on my DraftKings account, so I had to open a FanDuel account. I finally got it rectified, but it was it took me almost a month to get the DraftKings thing up. So I've got so used to the FanDuel, I've just been using that.
I got jacked up on FanDuel. I was in a fantasy football league with a group of guys up in beautiful downtown Chickenboro, Wolfboro, if you're playing at home, and
Wolfboro.
Yeah,
Jesus,
what?
that's way up there.
Well, we have an office up there.
No, I didn't know that.
The police chief invited me because we spent
nice.
quality time in the back of his car. I'm just kidding. It didn't happen, as far as you know. Anyway, that's a whole nother show. So, FanDuel, my account got all jacked up, and I literally texted him. I'm like, I can't get into FanDuel, and I can't create a new one because they're like, you're the same person because they want your phone number.
Right.
But like, I was just like, I'm good. So DraftKings, haven't gambled in a while. What was interesting though, what I didn't pay attention to, let's talk about dead horses. Welcome to the show. You can now do your horse betting on. I think DraftKings was taking Kentucky Derby bets.
I did bets on FanDuel also.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you and I were using in past years. We were going to Twin Spires.
Twin Spires.
Yeah. So does anybody have any information on that? Like, have they got to the bottom of that? I know it's sort of a side story. 12 horses in Lexington at the. Yeah. Did you know that?
I think 3 of them were. So one of the trainers was suspended because 3 of his horses, something happened. The other ones were just they broke their legs and they're
9 horses broke their legs inside of a month.
Yeah. A lot of them were just broken and they're just not able to heal.
Okay. They made it sound like 12 horses mysteriously died, like an episode of Dateline.
Remember the whole thing with Barbaro? They brought him to the hospital. They had surgeons, and eventually he ended up having to be put down because they just can't heal. It's like it's a break to their hoof or their lower leg area. Just they can't stay off it to let it heal, and so it's instead of them suffering, they just put them down at the track usually.
All right.
That's really sad.
Yeah, it is.
Not great.
You know what's not sad is that they hired Sam Cassell on the Boston Celtics for an assistant coach.
What
That's
a transition. This is why we keep him around.
Thank you.
Yep.
So that's
trying to bring.
Yeah.
They start off
under
under 500. He becomes the new coach.
It's a strong possibility. I've always loved Sam Cassell. He's a much better Damon Stoudemire, in my opinion. Like he's going to be able to work with the players, relate with the players. I think in a different way than Missoula will be able to. Super smart basketball guy. Obviously, he's worked with and look, no one. We all have our own opinions of Doc, but he's been on Doc's staff for a really long time. And Doc Rivers is. I mean, yes, longevity has something to do with it, but by the time his career is done, he's going to end up probably in like the top 10 in wins as an NBA coach by the time he's all done. So he's been around a lot of basketball. I think it's a perfect fit. I definitely think Missoula needs someone like that to kind of come in. I also think, again, going back to the basketball mind, he's a guy that will help Missoula with the drawing up of plays and, having those types of moments where, you come out of a timeout and you actually have something legitimately designed to get a basket late. So I'm super excited. I think it's a perfect fit, and I couldn't be more pumped to have him back. It's perfect.
Is there another bench move they need to make? Because based on Brad's comments last week, like their status quo, this is what we're doing. We're running it back.
They have to, because everybody that was on the staff is all.
Oh yeah,
joining
they're all
Ime.
leaving. Yeah, they're going with
They're all
Ime.
joining Ime in Houston.
Yeah.
So they're all leaving. So they brought in Sammy, 2 S's, 2 L's, and then they're going to bring in that's his nickname. Come on, anyway.
Sorry.
Back when he was playing in the 90s. Ask your great grandfather, apparently.
Oh.
And so,
Back when he had hair.
They
Yeah.
wanted to bring in, and I'm blanking. I can see his face. I'm blanking on his name right now. There was actually a Houston assistant that was available, but I think Toronto swooped in and snagged him. So there's a couple of players or a couple of coaches out there right now that they're looking at. To me, if I'm an assistant coach out there, like Boston's got to be right one of the best places to go. But yeah, they still have a couple of spots they're gonna need to fill. So we'll see. But yeah, I love the Sam Cassell hire. Love that. And I'm not disagreeing with Billy at all.
So-
if Joey's struggling, yeah,
Well-
I could see Sammy just being like, okay, let me just take this over.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess Mike, do you think if things are going well, they blame it on Cassell and just bounce Joe, or do they let Joe? You know what I mean?
No. If it's going well, they'll just they'll ride it. They won't make any changes at all.
So what does it look? Is it a 1-19 start or a 1-10 start before they blow somebody up?
Oh no, they would. If they were 1-10, yeah, they would absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
1-19, that wouldn't even get to that point.
Which is ridiculous, but I'm just trying to make a point. Okay.
Not with the talent
All right.
this team has. Yeah, no, not with the people.
Missoula wouldn't call a timeout yet if it was
Oh,
1-19, but
we're gonna let him work
He
through
got
it. We're gonna
better.
let him work through
Hey,
it.
he did get better. He did get better the last
yes,
few
he
games.
did.
He just didn't know what to do.
I totally agree.
When they came out of the timeout. That was
Yeah.
the issue that I had.
Yeah,
He got
well-
better calling them when he needed to, but he didn't know what the hell to do with it when he had it.
And he was great when that question was asked during the playoffs about how do you get your head out of it, and he was like, actually, he goes and he talked about I visited 3 girls under 21 who were battling cancer, and it gave me perspective. I love that. I do adore the kid, and it was way back when actually they were talking about when the royal family visited Boston they had something in Boston. And then they ended up courtside, and he got the question, which I'm sure annoyed people, but I loved his response. They were like, was it a distraction to have the royal family in the arena? And he goes, and he sort of gave a quizzical look, and the royal family was there, and he goes, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And I know that made people want to light themselves on fire, but I was like, oh, that was awesome that he had the balls to do that, right? So I know he's a man of faith, and I know he had a great response when he was asked that question during the playoffs. Two things, and I'll say this now way before we get to our preseason predictions. I don't know that he's the guy. I don't think he's the guy. I'll die on that hill. And I'm excited that we have Sam Cassell to insert, and I love that you're excited about him because that makes me excited about him. And I still don't think that Jason Tatum is unlocked. I think he's still locked. I think he's still locked. You know what? Here's my analogy right now because I love these. I live on these. When you buy something for your kids for Christmas and you have to slip that little piece of cellophane between the connector and the battery to make it go, that is still in him. He's not unlocked. The whole thing, Game 7, 5-1, everybody, this is unlocked Jason Tatum. He's arrived. No, he hasn't, and I don't know if he ever will. I'll double down. He never will. I said it.
The only thing that I have to disagree
He's never
And he'll
gonna
be
show up.
unlocked next playoff series.
He's
then,
never
'cause-
going to show up for us. I'll die on that hill. Go ahead.
The only thing is it sucks because I would have loved to seen him healthy for that Game 7. He doesn't twist his ankle in the or twist the ankle late second quarter.
We're
You know what I mean?
fighting with Denver right
what does
now.
it
I
look
agree
like?
with you. I
know
agree
what
with you.
mean?
Yep.
And I just because yes, they shouldn't have been in so many. They shouldn't have been in 7 games in the second round. They shouldn't have been in freaking 6 games in the first
I don't
round.
fault him for that
You know what I
game,
mean?
Scotty. I fault him for all the other games he didn't show up for.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. So they need to figure that out and step on people's throats going into next. That's what they should have on their shirts instead of unfinished business. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna step on your throat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Big freaking C there, and that's what because that's what they need to do.
Yep.
That's really what they need to do. But I don't know. Yeah, we got a long way to go before making predictions.
I think it should say we're not good with motivation.
And did you notice? Did you notice though? Here's the thing. So we're learning, and I think we've always known this. I went negative on the Bruins and negative on the Celtics, and they both ran it back almost. I went really positive on the Red Sox. Now I'm very excited because you have to win one game to start a winning streak, and they did that yesterday. I went hyper. Did I go 96 wins on the Red Sox? I think I did. Shit, the math isn't going to work. Anyway, and we're back.
It's not me.
Oh, it's not. How do you know?
Oh, I love it. Chris Chernick chimed in. He goes, Tatum's ankle didn't cause Jaylen Brown to turn the ball over 9 times.
Ah, yeah, Chernick. Welcome
Hashtag truth.
It was 8 times, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, my
it
God.
Could have been 9. It could have been 8. It could have been 7. Nobody. It was terrible. He was 8 for 21.
Yeah, each house has their own tone.
Yep.
So that's when it's just a single truck going out, you know if it's either coming from our house or from a different one.
Oh.
It's the ones, the long ones that it's a multiple company. Companies are a truck. Each truck is a company. So multiple company call, then you have to wait and listen. But the individual ones you can use, if it's your house or not, you can stop listening.
We gotta get. I want to get. We gotta get him a chest cam, so we can go on some of these. 1,000%.
Is that legal?
Right? No.
Can we make that happen?
No,
I don't think it is. Yeah.
No.
I'd buy the GoPro.
I got multiples. Yeah, let's do it. Let's.
It shows up with a cat. The cat in the tree. Big
Oh
GoPro
my God! The mitten
Mitten.
scam. The mitten
Come
scam.
here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
appointment television.
I've never had to get a cat out of a tree. I have had to get a cat out of an engine block.
Oh, all right. That makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
You've
climbed
never
up
done the
underneath
stereotypical cat and tree, really?
No. Yeah.
What's the dumbest thing you've shown up for? I know the list is vast, but like I know you guys get like I know. Have you gone to because we hear the old wives' tales, and I know it's true, but like you hear the stories of somebody calls 911 because their chicken nuggets were cold at Wendy's. But well,
that's for the police department. Yeah.
No, I get that. But so for you guys, what's the dumbest thing you've shown up for?
Water in their basement.
What are they?
It's probably the worst one. It's like call your plumber.
Call your plumber.
If you have a leaky pipe, we shut the water off. And
here's the confusion, though. You're a local, regional, marginal star. If I've seen you on the side of a AAA work truck dressed as a plumber, I might get confused and call the fire department. You're creating your own confusion. Let's have an honest conversation.
So all I'm saying is, if you're at home and you have
I love you, Scott. I love you.
What do? Do you turn the water off from the source?
I call rubbish.
And then call your plumber, or do you call 911 and say I got water in my basement?
I have to do this to prove to people that I'm not crazy. Stand by.
Are you calling 911 right now?
No, I was trying to prove a point. It's maybe not here. Hang on. And I might have told you guys this. When I go in, keep talking. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's happening right now.
Dumbest one I've been on is, so we went to an apartment complex because the smoke alarms are going off. They had a hibachi grill in their oven. Yeah.
What?
Grilling on a hibachi grill in their oven in their apartment.
What?
Yep.
Listen, I know there's a lot of gray hair. I know I'm senile.
That's the shit I've ever heard.
Walk me through this. What?
There is a lot. There's a lot of dumb calls.
And meth cooking in the living room? Is that what was also happening?
No, they were cooking their dinner
in a hibachi grill.
In their oven. They put the grill in the oven, lit the coals on fire in their oven, and then it smoked out the whole apartment building.
Fascinating. All right.
You can't. There's so many things we go on that regular people would not make sense of it because they would never even think twice about doing something like that.
No,
But
no.
The human race is a
I
flawed
feel like
species.
I'm picking up my wife's phone.
That's why I have a job, Scotty,
Yes.
because there are a lot of stupid people out there.
Stupid. Jeez.
And if you're Joe and Leslie, he's not talking about AAA work trucks. He loves that.
No.
Yeah,
Loves
and
it.
he also adores the
Loves
city
it.
of
Loves
Lowell.
Celtics tickets.
So I wanted
This
to show
job.
you guys this. When I go into my actual phone and go into contacts and start to punch in, and I do this with a few people, I've caught myself in the past going to text William F. Corey, which is Francis, which I adore. And I go to text him.
The
but
third.
It keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Ladies, control yourselves. So when I go to do this, right, because in my heart, I'm punching in, and I've done this, and I'm going to show this quickly, and it's only going to go to your email if anybody decides to start to spam you. But I'll move it quickly. I just want Scotty to see this, and I punch in rubber in contacts accidentally, and it brings up the contact information. It populates. So that's how much Tim Cook and our friends in Cupertino at Apple are listening. They've correlated rubber shoes to William Corey. And that is fascinating. My challenge is I have an agent in our ecosystem that his name is Peter, and I call him Pedro, and I constantly go to text Pedro, and it's not doing it.
Yeah.
So I know Zuckerberg's listening, the people at Ecamm are listening, YouTube's listening, hopefully Tim Cook's listening. Fix that. With everything you do, just fix that.
It's close enough.
When Timothy
Now
Sealandsy
when you
punches
put
in
in
Pedro,
plumber,
I'm looking for
I'm gonna
Peter.
show up.
What's that? Now you're
Put
going
in
to show up.
plumber,
Yes.
I'm going to show up now.
Yep. All right, boys. What have we not gotten to that we have to dot, or as Scotty said earlier, which I love, dot the T's and cross the I's? What do we have to do? What do we
Red
miss?
Sox?
Well, talk to me about
Yeah,
that.
we-
Is Heinz? I heard
Everyone hurt.
I heard a
The
great
end.
take the other day. Maybe it was this morning or yesterday. Credit where credit's due. Chris Curtis, producer on the Boston station that I listen to, and he made a great offering. Made a great BC guy, can't go wrong. Made a great offering. In the grand scheme of things, do we just put Cora where he wants to be, making the decisions? He wants to pick the players, right? Very Bill Parcells of him.
Yeah.
And do you slide Veritek into the dugout?
That'd be nice. I'd be on
And
board with that.
and again, I've got nothing against Hein Bloom, but winning does.
You don't?
Listen, you were in the room with the man.
Let's
Don't you
see.
have a relationship?
Yeah, he lied to me.
Oh.
So Kike Hernandez
Was this
may
in bed?
lead the
Keep
league
going.
in
Finish your
errors
story.
right now. He is not a full-time shortstop. There is
Well,
a
they moved
full-time
but they
shortstop in
moved him to
San Diego
center.
right now.
He's a phenom in center field, and they put him back out there. It's like they're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. He's treating this like a small market team, and we're not a small market team. It's like Paxton, who's been lights out most of his starts, was a reclamation project.
Mm-hmm.
They got him. He missed all of the last two seasons because he had come off Tommy John surgery, and then he re-injured himself last year, and then he's doing well. But it's like you take all these swings for the fences, and you hope you land 5 out of the 10 that you do, and it's not the way to play ball. We don't have the farm system to be able to do that. We don't have 50 guys that we think are really good in the farm system, and hopefully 5 of them hit for the majors in one season, like Tampa Bay does. Tampa Bay's been building that farm system for years and years and years. Red Sox don't have that farm system, and then usually it's like when they get good enough, they make a trade and trade the prospects to get that last key player that they need.
Yep.
So it's like two of the best pitchers in baseball right now are Michael Walker and Nathan Eovaldi.
Huh.
They
I'll say
signed
it
for a
for us. Why
combined
can't we get players like that? Yeah.
$30 million. You could had them both.
But would they be performing the way that they are here?
They
You know what I mean?
were pretty good last year with the Red Sox, even with their
Yeah.
the Red Sox bats and stuff weren't the greatest, but they were pitching well. They were our two best pitchers last year.
No, I know. I think it's just if you look at the depth and what they're trying to do is they brought in guys that dude. It's funny if you go to look at the preview for tonight's game, right? And you look at the injured list for the Red Sox. There
Are we playing at Fenway? Can we actually see the field at Fenway? Not too much smoke.
In Cleveland.
So that's right. It's
10,
Cleveland.
yeah, they're in Cleveland. 10 players that are listed on the injured list for the Red Sox. 3 for Cleveland. But it's it's massive, obviously, with Trevor Story and whatever. That's
Rubber Shoes had to talk about the fact that Sale looks great.
Right. Oh yeah. As soon as you said that, dude, he got hurt.
Rubber Shoes was running around nude last week talking about Chris Sale. Yep.
Next thing you know, there goes his arm.
He woke up the next day. He's like, I feel like my spine's broken. I'm like, that makes sense. Yeah, that's about right.
It's crazy, man. I just think the team, I feel like, has a decent enough depth, but they just need to get healthy. They just need to stay healthy. I don't think they've had the actual lineup that they've wanted or the full 5-man rotation that they've wanted at all this season. And it's just if they can get healthy, I'd be interested to see what they have. But there are highlights this season. Verdugo's having a great year. Obviously Yoshida and others, but yeah, I mean,
and they started out
96
that way.
wins or something like that. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
With Adam Duvall, he was like the player of the week before he got hurt. And at that time, everyone else was going pretty good, but Yoshida hadn't started hitting, and now he's doing very well. Yeah,
Yu Chang was hitting. Yeah, Yu Chang was hitting, and then all of a sudden he got hurt.
Chang will help. Chang Arroyo coming back would help the infield. But still, Arroyo hasn't played a full season, I don't think, his whole career. And Chang, you're taking a flyer on because, you signed him. He had a good World Baseball Classic. So that's the thing, though. It's like they've taken so many guys that, Adam Duvall, they're hoping he comes back from injury. Arroyo's never proven that he can play a full season. Kike, you're throwing him in as a full-time shortstop. He's been a utility player most of his career. He did play well in center field for us as a full-time center fielder. It's like, why move him? He's good there. Leave him there. And you bring in, they just, instead of bringing Adam Duvall in, bring in a shortstop that can actually play shortstop.
So roughly 50 days away from a trade deadline, what move do you make that improves this team? And I'm also going to pepper in, because I say this all the time, I trust, as crappy as we are right now, we come out on the other side of the break and we light things up. Like I always, you guys know this. I hate when we go in hot. So going in crappy, assuming we continue to go in crappy for the next 3 weeks. If we come out the other side, we're heating up. Is there a change that you make that puts us on a trajectory that we're not unloading people? Here we go.
That was a long one. That's a long one.
Well, it's probably Ava up in the kitchen. She just pulled that. It's time to go.
She called 911 and it's not.
She goes, my hibachi doesn't fit in my oven. My mom wants to know what to do, and Dad's late for dinner. Yep.
Okay, but the 911 has directed us to Lowell, Massachusetts, so it's going to be a thing.
Rubbish is coming to your house.
Be basic.
Kebabs.
Honestly, I would say I don't know if they do anything on the offensive side. I think they need pitching. I look at their starters, and I think that they need some pitching. Kluber has worked out like a big pile of dog shit and just has not done anything that, he's just been freaking god awful. And granted, he has the second most innings pitched to Tanner Hawk, this season, but his ERA is like 6 something. What is it? 6.25. Yeah, he's been just absolutely freaking terrible. So I think starting pitching is where they need to go. I don't know how they get that. I don't know who they're giving up to get that, but they do need a starter. They need another legit starter, behind Sale, behind, Whitlock and those guys, who's not even pitching that well this year either. But I guess Sale actually. But and I will say this though, the kid Brian, I'm not going to pronounce his first name. Brian Bello, Brian.
Brian.
Is it Brian? No. I like the way he looks. You know what I mean? He's only had 9 starts so far, but the kid, I think he's going to be. Everyone was toting him as like the next like Pedro and stuff, but between him and James Paxton, like they've kind of looked much. They've helped stabilize the rotation a little bit over the last week or so, maybe a couple of weeks. Paxton's had 5 starts. Bello with 9, but yeah, that's where.
So
that's
the
where
thing is, they're 4.5 games out of the wild card. They're in last place in the AL East. They're currently playing a team that's in second place in the AL Central, but we have a better record than. So it's because they're in such a tough division that it looks very skewed.
Mm.
And it's crazy. They have the. Oops, sorry.
I'm very curious that we're in it for the wild card hunt, but do they sell it as we're in last place, we're not going to be able to win the division, and then it just they don't do anything.
Mm.
So they have the 5th best batting average in all of baseball as a team, hitting .261 as a team, 5th best in all of baseball.
Mm.
But they have the 7th worst ERA in all of baseball.
Yeah, and a lot of that's because of the injuries in the bullpen. They've had to bring a lot of
starters
guys
too,
up.
Yeah, I mean the starters are. I mean, you look how many starters are.
Kluber's a huge part of that. I think his ERA is like over 6.
Yeah, but then Houck's 5 something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
his has crept up to
I mean, there's a bunch of guys. It just I would like to answer your question, Timmy. I would say that the focus should be pitching. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you mess with the offense right now, especially with guys coming back like Duvall, Chang, and others that'll come back. But yeah, that's where I would go.
Is Story next year or the end of this year?
They keep putting his name out there that he's coming back this year.
They really do. It's a little crazy. They're talking like middle July lately, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like,
but what do we get though?
So that's going to be their thing that they've done like the last 4 seasons. Oh, Chris Sale is going to be coming back off the IL, so that's the trade we would have made. That's the acquired, that's the player we would have acquired. So they're going to pull that crap again if that's when he comes back.
Well, but yeah,
they're ruining my summer, Tim.
Here it gets back. It's back. But here's the thing: is Story back in Worcester or Portland, or is he in Boston mid-July? What do they mean?
Oh no, he probably wouldn't come back to Boston until August, if the earliest. I'm going to a Sea Dogs game if the kid's there, though.
Oh, I love that. That's such a great take. Such a great take.
They brought up Marcelo Mayer
to
Portland.
Well, as they should.
That was their number 1 draft pick 2 years ago.
Yeah, so I don't think we can keep waiting. At this point, honestly, defensively, I'd love to see them fast track him the Fenway.
If Story doesn't come back, I think we'll see Mayer with the big club at some point at the end of the season.
Who goes down?
Whoever gets hurt next.
Whoever gets hurt next.
I mean, they just they DFA'd Ray Mill. The hell's his last name? The guy that with the blonde dreads.
Mm-hmm.
He just got DFA'd to bring up. I think it was the Kluber. But then Chris Sale went on the IL, and that opened the door for someone else. But I don't think they brought him back.
I mean, it was just slashing down in Greenville. So Yeah, he just got promoted the other day, so I'm interested. I'll have to. He collected 3 hits the other night, so we'll see
Yeah,
how
keep
he
keep
does.
us posted with the local Portland Sea Dog.
Hey, they're 32-19.
Dude,
Don't fuck with my Sea Dogs, boy.
No, I'm gonna ask Scotty, and I guarantee. Would you rather go to a Fisher Cat game or a Sea Dog game?
Oh, Sea Dogs.
All
Sea
day.
Dogs.
It's such a it's
all
well,
day.
I know, obviously with the allegiance
Way
to the
better.
team, it's a better take.
Portland is a much better. Oh,
It's a
I'm
better
sorry,
take.
I was even going to say Portland and Manchester in the same sentence. I am so
Oh.
sorry.
With that, we're
It's
brought to you
not
by
even
AAA Work Trucks.
comparable. Like-
Holy Moses.
Portland and Portsmouth are kind of close, but Portland and Manchester, no comparison.
From a restaurant scene, Portland and Portsmouth are yes. It's a heavyweight match. It's a heavyweight match
But
for sure.
Portland is amazing city.
Yeah, but
Yep, 1,000%.
preach. Duck
All right,
facts.
boys, we
They should
get-
be a sponsor.
We get
Duck
Adam back next week, I believe. We'll see you in and around the interwebs. We thank our
So
friends Joe and
I'm
Leslie at AAA
I'm a
Work Trucks.
hard out again next Wednesday.
Oh, what's happening?
As am I. It's gonna be all politics all the time next week because I'm out as well.
What's happening? Gray hair? What does that mean? What did you just
I
do?
got my hair cut again, just like last week.
Oh, for the
Can't get it
love
changed
of
right now.
God!
It's gonna be she only had a 6:15 appointment. So
You're getting your hair cut on a weekly basis?
every other week.
I'm every Friday, by the way. Anyway, so you didn't know that? Oh yeah,
I
have a
could
show
do it
for
every
another
week,
day.
but
princess. Anyway, it's cathartic.
I'm over here. I
Scotty.
got freaking hair like going all like I'm a mess.
no, I'm
Yeah.
definitely have to go every other week. That's when I
I'm-
have to push it 3 weeks once in a while. It's overdue.
I couldn't agree more. So all right, we're down rubber shoes because I can tell you I'm a Wednesday kid next week. Scotty, can you play Wednesday?
No, I'm
not. No.
there until 6.
I need Adam on Wednesday. Holy Lord! Or I'm out and you guys figure out Tuesday. I don't know,
I'm in. I just have to leave at 6.
we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We've been talking about live and the PGA.
I said
and,
I'm a hard
Kluber?
out at 6.
oh, all right. So you're all right. You're in. All right, we're
Yeah.
good. Oh, now, Scotty. Next Wednesday, you're out.
I am out. Yes, I am 100% out.
We should send a survey to our listeners and be like, do you care about our schedule next week or not? They don't. AAA Work Trucks, Joe and Leslie, we love you. Thank you. You're looking for all the stuff at atbshow.com. Rubber Shoes back at it every morning on all the interspaces, talking about the Rubber Shoes wrap-up and rant. We'll see you next week on Wednesday right here at atbshow.com on the YouTubes. Have a great week. See you, boys.